Hi everybody, welcome to the vMix Fun Time live show March edition. If you're joining us live, thanks for joining us. If you're watching us on YouTube down the track, then thanks for joining us on YouTube as well. My name is Tim, and as always, I have Martin joining me today.
Hi guys, how's it going? It's great to be back again for another content-packed live show. We've got a lot to talk about today. So, what's going to be on the show today?
All right. So, as you may or may not know, we've been busy gearing up for NAB and vMix 17. So today we'll be talking about vMix 17 and NAB as well. As you may or may not have seen on our Twitter and Facebook, we've been working on a new browser input for vMix 17, so we'll be talking about that as well. And we'll also be talking about the Blackmagic Decklink Quad 2 as well. So that's, every time I say that, I always get it wrong, but that's exactly what it is, right?
That's exactly what it is.
Decklink Quad 2. So we'll be talking about that today. So we have one here. So everybody's been talking about them, and you know, you can see them on shops and stuff, but we actually have one here. We'll show it to you. We'll show you how it will work with vMix when you'll be able to get one. Okay, so at the moment, we're in full NAB mode. So logistically, things around here are pretty crazy at the moment, which means that we have a lot of our stuff being shipped over to Las Vegas. So unfortunately, it's not like a normal holiday trip where you can, if you forget your shampoo, you can go to Walmart and buy it. Unfortunately, we can't buy 200 feet of SDI cables or Ethernet or PTZ cameras or microphones or all sort of MIDI devices from Walmart. So everything is over and on its way to Las Vegas at the moment. So as a result, we're using some different devices and different products and stuff for today's stream. So I'm going to get Martin to quickly show you what we're working with today.
All right, great. So here is our famous graphic we show each month, and there's some new things in our lineup. As you said, we're shipping a whole bunch of stuff over to Las Vegas, so things are a little bit different. Our audio setup is still the same. We have the Behringer UMC 404, and we have 2 wireless mics. We're testing new microphones today, which is supposed to be great for lots of crowd noise, so we're testing these. They're going to be used for NAB. And then over in the cameras, we've got some different cameras because we've been shipping a lot overseas, as I mentioned. We have a PTZ camera we're testing out. We have a Canon HFG20, which we dusted off out of the cupboard. Still a great camera, highly recommended for anybody that wants an affordable, high-quality HDMI camera. And then the Sony PXW X70, which has been my camera throughout pretty much all of our live shows. So that's this camera angle here is the Sony rather, X70. So you can put the graphic back up again. You're in charge of that. For our controllers, we have the vMix control surface and the Newmark Orbit, which Tim is using to cue pretty much everything up in the show. All of that is going, there he is right there. So all of that is going into my old Asus G750. We've just updated it today with the latest Windows updates, which can sometimes catch up when you least expect it. So that's great. And then all of the cameras are connecting to the AJIO 4K, and then it's being plugged in via Thunderbolt, and we're streaming to Dacast again today. So thank you, Dacast, for the bandwidth and for the great support. We also have a new chat room we're trialing out, so hopefully people over there in the chat room, hi, thanks for catching us live. It's great to have you here.
So yeah, that's it. So we're running today on the vMix 17 Super Mega Beta, which is very exciting. So hopefully everything is working fine. The issues that we had, if you were joining us live, issues that we had weren't anything to do with vMix or streaming. It was just this laptop. That's all it was. And it decided to, it thought that 11 o'clock Australian time would be a great time to do any sort of necessary updates or probably non-necessary updates. So yeah, so now we're here, we're back, we're ready, and we're good to go. All right, so recently we received an email from Mike at Extreme Productions in the Netherlands, and he sent us an email with some photos and just some information about a production that he's done. So he did a production for the 200 years of the Dutch Kingdom. So here we are. Here we have some pictures from his production. So it was a presentation done by the King of the Netherlands, I believe. So he used vMix for the screens to display the slides and that the presenter wanted to show, as well as he used vMix for the multi-quarter function to record the cameras that he had. He didn't actually display the cameras on the screens, but he used the multi-quarter to record the cameras that he was using. And so yeah, it was a pretty big deal to have it do this production with the King of the Netherlands. And as you can see, if you can pause that one, so you can see here you have his full vMix setup with the multi-view setup, and he had various screens, large screens, and I think it was in it looked like a Air Force
if you see
carrier. So if you go back,
you can see a plane over there at the top, sort of
so it looked like it was in some sort of military, Air Force museum or something like that. So yeah, we thought it was cool. We appreciate Mike from Extreme Productions sending that through, just showing us how he was using vMix, and then we thought it was a good way to just display how somebody was using it. So if you have anything like that, like if you're doing any big productions or anything that you want to send us some photos of, we'll take a look and let everybody else see how you're using vMix. And I'd imagine that doing a thing in front of royalty is a pretty big deal. So it was cool that he was able to use vMix, and then to be able to use his camera feeds that he's recorded through vMix, and gave those to like news stations that they were able to use that footage. So yeah, that was cool. So thanks for sending that in, Mike.
Thanks, Mike. And as always, we should mention, we have a showcase on our forums. The showcase section, everybody's posting things they're using vMix for on a weekly basis. If you have a big production, and post it on the showcase and let us know, and we might just mention you on our next monthly show. So what's next?
All right. So as we mentioned before, we've been able to receive a Blackmagic Decklink Quad 2 card. So if we switch to a here we go. Here it is here. So this is an actual production model of the card. So if you go online, if you go to B&H, if you go to various other Blackmagic places that sell Blackmagic cards, you'll be able to see different versions of this. We believe that this will be the production version. So this is exactly what it looks like, the 8-input card. So Martin's going to quickly tell you a little bit about it, and we'll show you how that will work within vMix.
Yes. So just for those that don't know, Blackmagic announced sometime last year a brand new card, sort of the successor to the previous Decklink Quad. For those who aren't familiar, the Decklink Quad is a 4-channel, either any combination of inputs or outputs for 4 channels total. Capture card for the PC and Mac, I guess. You can install it in a PCI Express slot and use it as a capture card or as an output card, or both at the same time. So it was a great multi-channel card that's been used for years and years and years. A lot of our customers are using it with vMix. Now, last year they announced the upgrade to it, which is called the Decklink Quad 2, funnily enough, and it's a brand new 8-channel card. So for those who know the previous Quad, it has 8 connectors on it. The new one has 8 connectors, and now you can use all 8 if you want to. So the way that works, they've sort of designed it in 2 modes. By default, it works just like the previous Decklink Quad 2 card. And in fact, I have a diagram here just to show what that looks like. So this is previously how the old Quad card was mapped and how the new one is mapped. As you can see there, in the Blackmagic Desktop Video Utility, there's 8 ports to choose from. But they're mapped in software, such as vMix, in 1, 2, 3, and 4. As you can see, 1 is mapped to 1 and 2 ports. 2 is mapped to 3 and 4, 3 is mapped to 5 and 6, and 4 is mapped to 7 and 8. So if you buy this card and chuck it in a PC, that's what you're going to see in vMix. The first 4 are going to be able to be used as inputs or outputs using grouped together 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So just like the previous Decklink quad, if you're using channel 1 and you were sending something out of channel 1, it would go out of the number 2 port. If you're bringing in a camera, it would go in through the number 1 port, and so on and so forth for all of those 4 channels. Now what you can do in the Blackmagic desktop video utility is you can reassign those 2, 4, 6 and 8 ports to be used as an additional 4 channels. So if you reassign those in the desktop video utility, there's drop down boxes for each of the ports you can assign. It will look like this. So now instead of just having 1, 2, 3 and 4, now you've got 5, 6, 7 and 8 using those secondary ports. So the order of the ports is actually 1, 5, 2, 6, 3, 7, 4, 8. But see, now hopefully you'll see with these 2 diagrams, you'll see the reason for that. It's so it can be a drop-in replacement for the previous quad, and if you want to, you can have those second ports, so you have 8 possible channels you can use. So you could have, 6 of those as inputs and 2 of those as outputs in vMix, for example, or all 8 as inputs, or just use, the first 4 ports as per the previous cards. So with Blackmagic Design have told us these are pretty much on their way to the stores right now. So there have been some news reports that it's been Q4. That was actually Q4 2015. So they're just a little bit late, but they're not going to take a lot longer before you can get your hands on one of these new cards. So that is the Decklink Quad 2 quads from Blackmagic Design, available very soon from your nearest Blackmagic reseller. So,
so that's it.
That's it.
So they'll be affordable. I think they're around $1,000 for an 8 input card. So keep your eye out for that if that's what if you're looking for something along those lines. And yeah, that will work with vMix 17, but we'll also work with vMix 16, is that right?
Yeah, so we'll work with vMix 16 and also vMix 17. vMix 17 is going to have a couple of improvements specifically for the card. For example, it will auto-detect changes of formats as you connect them, so that'll be a handy feature, but otherwise it'll work with all previous versions of vMix for both input and output.
Cool. All right, we've got to mention, we always have a question and answer time at the end if you're watching live. So if you are watching live and you have questions, answers about these cards, about vMix 17, about NAB or whatever, chuck them in the chat room now and we'll get to them at the end. So yeah, don't forget to ask your questions. All right, so as you may or may not have known, over the past, 3, 4, 6 months, we've been talking about the National Association of Broadcasters Convention, or NAB, in Las Vegas. It's going to be on in a few weeks, April the 18th to the 21st for the exhibits. And you might wonder why we're always going on about it. Well, it's kind of like the Super Bowl of broadcasting, I guess, which is pretty redundant because the Super Bowl is probably the Super Bowl of broadcasting. But everybody who's everybody goes to NAB. We have like new products, just announcements for products, things that may never be products, but announcements for those things, networking, everybody, making deals and all that kind of stuff. Anything in the broadcasting industry, from webcasting all the way up to TV shows, movies, and all that kind of stuff is all covered. So you're covering, from streaming, webcasting up to do like color correction for major motion pictures and production and all that kind of thing. So it's a massive, massive thing. So that's why we're always going on about it. We put a lot of time and effort into preparing for the show and putting on our booth. So we just wanted to let everybody know that we're going to be there. We will be in booth SL7920. So as you can see, that's South Lower Hall, booth SL7920. We're in that hall with a bunch of other different production companies and, anything from Blackmagic Design, camera places like Red, NewTek, AJA, Bluefish, PTZ Optics, you name it. They'll be in the South Lower Hall. So if you're in that hall and you're going to Las Vegas for NAB, come check us out in that hall. Come say hi. We'll be doing daily live shows. So we'll be doing a vMix 17 demo. What else? We're covering a whole bunch of different things each day, tutorials, NDI will also be having a live cross each day from the Teradek live show, which Teradek also do a live show at their booth in their giant Perspex clear cube, which is pretty awesome to see, which is in the central hall, which is worth checking out. So they'll be doing a live cross to us every single day, which will be great. So if you can't make NAB, like if you're not going to be in Las Vegas, which I mean, why wouldn't you be? But if you're not going to be in Las Vegas, then you can check us out. We'll be doing the stream to our website every single day, vmix.com/live. So the same place you're at today for the vMix Fun Time live show, you'll be able to, here I am here, you'll be able to watch us at vmix.com/live. So if you want to check us out there, that's where we'll be every single day. So if you're at work or if you're at home and you're like, oh, I've got nothing else to do, or I'm interested to hear about what they're talking about or what they're doing, hit up our website and you'll be able to see a live stream from there, which will be pretty cool. So yeah, if you are going to be there, come check us out. We'll have benches. You can sit down and watch the live shows, hands-on demo stations with all the vMix hardware and software. Come talk to us about vMix 17, about stuff you want to do, and bug Martin about improvements that you want with vMix and all those fun kinds of things. So if you want to find out more information about that, it will always be on our Facebook and on our Twitter. So if you follow us at vMix HD, that's where I usually post most of the news and stuff that we have coming up for different upgrades and things that we're doing, events. So follow us on Twitter, add us on Facebook and be our friend on Facebook. And in real life, if you're actually there, come and talk to us. You know my name, you know Martin, so feel free to come over and chat, and yeah, it'd be great to see you there.
Yeah, it'll be a great event. As always, we have a massive booth, biggest booth we've ever had. So we have a lot of ability for you to go on hands-on, take a look at vMix 17, take a look at our latest hardware systems, watch the live stream, and we're nearby all these other companies that work well with vMix, from capture cards to NDI. NewTek's doing a whole bunch on NDI, so you can go there, find out about NDI, then come to us and see how it all works with vMix. So it's all going to be great if you can make it. If otherwise, as Tim said, we'll have a live stream, so you can find a little bit about it as well.
Now we're going to talk about another new feature for vMix 17. Just when you thought, and just when we thought there would be no more new features, there is a new feature. So yes. Martin's going to talk about that.
So this new feature, if you've been following us on Twitter, is a new web browser input support for vMix. So there's two ways you can use this. In a live show, you want to show somebody a web page on your live stream or your recording or whatever you're doing with vMix. Well, now it's really easy to do that. The second reason you may want a web browser input is if you're familiar with all of the live streams on Twitch. A lot of gamers will do live streams constantly doing live streams, and they produce these streams where they're playing the games and they might appear chroma keyed over the top of the game footage, just like we did with Rocket League on our last monthly show. They also show widgets on the screens. There's little things like followers and subscribers and people donating to their live stream. The way they do that is by bringing in web browser widgets with an alpha channel transparency background. So that's the second way you can use the web browser input. So rather than me talk about it any further, I'm going to do a demonstration. To do the demonstration, I'm going to bring in a desktop capture of the entire screen and jump to that right there. So here you can see our live production today. You can see everything's happening on the screen. We've got all our audio sources, and I'm just using the red category here to show the desktop capture. If I click main, you can see all of our sources and all the stuff we've been doing for our live show. But I've just cleared that all away into the red category, which is my web browser demo category. So all I have to do here is go to add input and select the new web browser tab. And I can just type in the website address and specify a width and height. Now the width and height is handy because you can reduce it. So say your production is 1080p like we are today, you can say make it 1280 by 720 and it will be half the size and centered on the screen, and you can move it around and position it. So that's great if you have little widgets and you want to have them, specify the size of the widget, and then you can use the input position options in vMix to move it around. So just as a quick test, I'll just do the vMix website. And there you go, the website appears just like that. and I can even go into the preview window and drag the scroll bar like so, and I can go to various menus and have a look all around our website. So if I put that into the output, I'll show you what it looks like for you guys. So you guys are seeing this website on screen, and you're seeing me scroll down. You don't see the mouse or anything, so it's all easy, kept out of the way. I can go and say, oh, I want to show people the features page of the vMix website. I can even, click one of these buttons here and go to the Twitter feed, and there is the Twitter feed. Hey, look, and a video clip is even playing. And if I turned on the audio for that, which I won't, just because, you can see that that's the web browser input like there. So another type of browser input is the second type, is something that people put on their Twitch. And a popular site that people have widgets on for Twitch is Twitch Alerts. So we have this Twitch Alerts URL. What you do is you log into the Twitch Alerts website, which Tim has done on his laptop, and you get a whole panel of widgets. You can select from them. So now we have that browser widget there. Tim's going to activate that as an overlay.
So what happens is I'm going to activate I had a new follower on my Twitch stream. So when people have new followers, or they have a donation or subscription, they like to have alerts pop up, and they go, okay, thanks for that person following us while they're doing their live gaming stream. So I'm going to just test this out now, and I'm going to test the follow alert. So there we go. It's a browser overlay to say, hey, vMix HD is now following us, which is us following ourselves.
So if you heard that, it's got a sound effect. That sound effect is coming from the browser input. So this is a feature, as far as we are aware, is not available in any other product. Each browser input has full audio support, and it can be independently mixed. So one thing you can do with that is YouTube. So we have a YouTube link right here. Let's add it in. And there we go. We've got that YouTube video. We can play that out. So you can hear the audio of that YouTube effect. I can full screen it like so.
Pause it.
And, there's the video clips playing directly from YouTube with full audio support. And I can minimize it, and I can bring that back. And then I can jump back to the full screen like so. So that is the brand new web browser input in vMix. And of course I can right click and I can go back, I can go forward, I can reload a page, or I can go to properties and I can update the URL, so using the mouse I can scroll, all this sort of stuff, using it for widgets with full alpha channel support, with audio. It's all there in the brand new web browser input, so that we're thinking of a whole lot of different applications you can use with that. So that is a really cool feature that's coming up in vMix 17.
Yes. All right. So now that we've covered new things in vMix 17, we're going to cover other things in vMix 17, and yours and my favorite topic, NDI. Now, NewTek has officially released it. There's been a bit of a launch for that on Monday. No, what day was it? Was it last week that it was released?
So they did a soft launch last week.
Yeah.
And woo, I keep pressing the wrong button. Sorry about that. My fault. Yes, they released a soft launch last week, and they're doing a big press release this week, I believe, of NewTek NDI. So
Martin's going to talk to you about how that is going to affect vMix, what sort of things are going to be out there to integrate with vMix, how vMix integrates with NDI and other products. So I'll hand it over to Martin.
Yes.
That's me.
Oh,
there we go.
All right. So NDI, Network Device Interface, is a technology that makes it easy to send and receive multiple channels of broadcast quality, low latency video over an existing gigabit Ethernet network. So think of it this way. File sharing has been possible for decades now over a local network. You can send and receive files, you can send something over to a printer, so why not with live video? And that is essentially what NDI is all about. And NDI does it in a way that is perfectly suited for live production and streaming applications like vMix. So we get asked about NDI a lot, as you know, there's a lot of excitement about it, and people are asking, well, what can it do specifically for vMix? First of all, it can receive multiple channels of video and audio from any NDI compatible device or PC on the network in SD, HD, or 4K and everything in between. So any device on the network that supports NDI and can send video and audio in NDI, vMix can receive it, just like it would with a camera input. So with audio and video in sync together, live, low latency, so it arrives pretty much exactly only within a few milliseconds after it was sent. Low latency, great for live use. So any device or thing on the network, it can receive. It's as easy as going to add input and selecting the NDI tab, and you'll see all the sources available on the network. Just like when you're browsing your network on your PC, you'll see computers that you can access files from. In vMix now you can see all the computers that have, or devices that have live video. So that's the first feature. You can receive any NDI source. And including cameras and devices, you can also receive from other PCs, things like graphics generating programs. There's a whole bunch of them that are going to be coming out at NAB. There's even a few that have been released just in the past couple of days. Software that generates titles, animations with full alpha channel support. So using something like Casper CG on another computer, if you know about that software, it supports NDI now, and you can do alpha channel and you can bring that all into vMix. Don't need to worry about separate inputs and key and fill. It's just a single source that has alpha channel, so it's really easy to use. So that's what you can receive. And the final thing that you can receive is desktop capture. So we'll be releasing a piece of software for both the Mac and the PC called vMix Desktop Capture for NDI. And this captures the desktop and audio on Macs and PCs, and it also captures games. So this is pretty unique and hasn't been possible before. If you have that vMix Desktop Capture application on a PC, running video games, we demoed this last month using Rocket League. It will capture that, send it over the network via NDI, and you'll be able to easily capture it into vMix at full frame rate. So that's the input side of things. The second major feature of NDI that vMix supports is sending out. So the output of vMix can be sent using NDI, and including to another computer running vMix. So you could have a laptop running vMix and doing graphics. You could send that out with alpha channel to the main production PC running vMix using NDI. So sharing the output is that second feature. If you've got vMix 4K or Pro editions, you can also send a secondary output over the network using NDI. Say you want to send the preview output, maybe you want to send the entire multi-view. You can do all of that using the vMix 4K and Pro features, in addition to the main output over NDI. So that's not all. I mean, I sound like I'm doing a sales pitch, but there's a whole lot more you can do with NDI. You can receive, you can send the output, you can also send any camera you've added to vMix using NDI. So say you've got a capture card installed, a USB dongle, or anything like that, webcam even, add them into vMix, and then you'll also be able to see them from any other computer on the network and add them that way as well. So you can share one camera across multiple systems running NDI, and they don't have to be running vMix. It can connect to any NDI system out there. In addition to camera inputs, you can also share audio inputs in vMix. So you add an ASIO audio source into vMix, then you can also share that to any other NDI system on the network. And finally, the 4 audio buses in vMix, which consist of master, headphones, A and B, can be sent via NDI as well. So you can do a full audio mix using ASIO sources or audio sources or sound cards, and then you can receive that in full, perfect quality, no compression on the audio over at any NDI source, including things such as TriCasters or other copies of vMix. So pretty much anything you can think of can be shared in some way using vMix via NDI, in addition to be able to receive pretty much anything. If it says it supports NDI, vMix will have some way of connecting to it. So that's the amazing thing about NDI. It's an open technology, it's been pioneered by NewTek, and it's available to anybody who wants to produce software. And finally, another feature in a third-party company out there has just announced support for some software that can turn your camera and your iPhone into an NDI source. So we've been asked that a lot lately, how they can bring in an iPhone as a video source into vMix. Well, very soon you'll be able to download some software from the App Store from a company called Sienna that are making a bunch of tools for NDI, including the ability to bring in iPhone cameras. So another question people are asking us about NDI is, what are the system requirements? What do I need to be able to use NDI and vMix? Well, all you need is a vMix 17, obviously, or higher, and any Intel or AMD processor on the system that supports SSE 3 or higher. So this pretty much includes all Intel i5 and i7 processors released since around 2005. So pretty much, if you've bought your computer since 2005 in the last decade, chances are it supports NDI. It's just a matter then of how many sources that you can bring in at the same time. And that really just depends on the CPU resources you have available to you. If you've got a high-end 4 gigahertz or even 3.5 gigahertz 4-core processor, then you can bring in at least 4 NDI sources in full HD into vMix without using up too much CPU. But with everything, the simple CPU rule applies. If you're using more than 70%, that's probably a bit too much. So you can add as many sources, set up recordings, set up streams, up to 70% CPU usage, and you're going to have good results throughout your live production. And a couple of other Q&A questions that people commonly ask us about NDI. Does NDI work over Wi-Fi? The answer is kind of. To explain that, NDI is really designed to be used over a gigabit Ethernet network for low latency, smooth, high quality HD and even 4K sources. So if you have a couple of sources that are connected over Wi-Fi, you will be able to receive them in vMix. It's just a matter of how smooth the video will be. If you've got one of the latest high quality Wi-Fi networks that does 100 megabit plus, and reliably, then you'll at least be able to bring in one full quality HD source using Wi-Fi. So that might be handy if you have a couple of iPhone cameras you want to send in. Maybe they're sending 720p with that app I mentioned earlier, that you'll probably be able to do a couple of those on a good quality Wi-Fi N-enabled network, or A, the two major new standards for high bandwidth, Wi-Fi A or N, 802.11a or N, for those that know about the different versions of the wireless standards. And, you know, as I mentioned before, vMix Desktop Capture for NDI is a separate application to capture games and applications from both Mac and PC. It will be released to our website very soon, and you'll be able to use it with other NDI compatible systems. It's a desktop capture version, freely available. You can not only bring those desktops into vMix, you can bring them into any NDI compatible system, including something like the TriCaster. So we believe it'll be the only product out there that'll be able to capture games and full screens on the desktop capture on Windows. So you'll be able to get a hold of that for free and use it with any NDI production. So that's also a cool add-on we're providing to the NDI community free of charge. So finally, the final question we get asked is, which editions of vMix support NDI? And their answer is all of them. So if you don't know, we have a free version, which is in SD, called Basic, which can bring in 2 SD cameras. Then we have Basic HD that can bring in 3 HD cameras, 4 total. NDI is treated as a camera. So if you've got the SD version, you can bring in 2 NDI cameras in SD. If you have the Basic HD, you can bring up to 3 HD camera NDI sources in HD. If you have any of the other versions, then it's unlimited, only up to the maximum amount of performance available on the PC. So it's shared with the cameras as well. So the Basic HD supports 3 cameras. You could have 1 physically attached webcam and 2 NDI sources, and you can do all of that in the Basic HD. So NDI is available in all versions. It's just a matter of what features are currently available also apply to NDI. So if you have the 4K version, you can do 2 NDI outputs, just like you could do 2 external outputs in 4K version in previous editions. So that is a brief run through of what NDI does and how it all works. So I hope that's helpful to everybody out there. So
thanks for that. Well, if anybody has any more questions about NDI, we've got a question and answer time now. So if you have any specific questions to ask us, now is a good time to do so. So get on the chat and ask us some questions. If you're on YouTube, unfortunately, maybe leave a comment if you want to ask a question. But yeah, so if you're live and you're in the chat room, feel free to start asking questions. I have a few already for you. Any updates to FFmpeg GPU stream encoding?
So previously in a version of vMix 16 we released, I think earlier in the year, maybe late last year, we've enabled support for GPU encoding using NVIDIA graphics cards. That's still there and it works great. It'll also be there in vMix 17, moved out of beta now. So there's a tick box in the stream settings to encode using the GPU using NVIDIA graphics cards. So that's still in there. We've also added a couple of extra options for CPU-based encoding, including X264 presets. For the advanced users out there that know what that is with FFmpeg, we now allow you in vMix 17 to fine-tune quality versus CPU usage. So we balance, the best possible quality for the least amount of CPU usage. Now you can fine-tune that if you've got a crazy high-end processor and you just want the best possible quality and you want it to use, 20 cores and do a great job, then you have that option to do that if so inclined. So
okay,
that's the GPU encoding in vMix streaming.
James wanted to know, I've got to find this question again. The alpha channel for the browser, is it CSS? Like, how does that work?
So, how to use an alpha channel in a web page. Simply leave off the background color for the body element in HTML, and it will automatically set that to transparent. So a lot of these widgets on Twitch alerts and stuff do exactly that. They just don't set a background color at all. The web browser input sees there's no background color set and makes it transparent. So even if you have semi-transparent elements in CSS, because they're on top of that background that doesn't have any background color set, they will be semi-transparent over the overlay. So you saw with that Twitch alert we did, it appears as an overlay over the top and it actually fades out. That's all CSS fading out right there. So they're just using JavaScript to fade that out like so. Exactly like that. We're not using a transition effect. That's all purely happening in HTML5. JavaScript, CSS, you can create animations, you can create your own titles. There's a whole lot of stuff you can do. Sky's the limit. That's why I think it's a really flexible way of just bringing in a whole bunch of content into vMix. You could even experiment with creating your own title generator. Just create a web page, have it be aware through CSS and JavaScript of what the width is and the height is. So the browser width and height you can figure out. They're what you specify in the settings. So you'll be able to figure out easily, oh, it's a 1080p frame. I'm going to put a title here, a text there. So you can create your own titles using HTML. So it's going to be really powerful for graphics, titles, overlays, or just to show your audience a web page during the show like we did.
I've got some long questions if you feel like answering long questions.
Sure, let's bring them on.
My vMix project drops rare random frames. If I select a bitrate higher than 8 megabits per second, MP4, what should I focus on? My PC is a brand new 6700K Intel, 32 gigs of RAM and a gigabyte 970 graphics card. I've tried everything I can think of.
The best way to answer that is to go into settings in vMix, go to the About tab, and then click Send Support Report. Then email us your registration license key, and we'll be able to look up that report. It'll tell us all about the system. It'll give us some information about what the frame rate is and settings, and we should be able to figure out what it is. It could just be a setting in a camera that just needs to be tweaked. But sending that support report will give us enough information to solve that for you. So send that report, email us the license key, and we'll do our best to help you out.
All right, here's another even longer one. It feels like a talkback, radio talkback one. I feel like John Laws.
John Laws. For Australians out there, you'll know who that is.
Hi, I was using vMix for quite some time now, and I must say it's the best I've used. Very easy and quick to learn. However, I miss one thing, and that is the control surface, as I'm used to in TriCaster and BidBlaster. I like the one that Cloud Media and another guy has shown in the forum. Why can't vMix produce their own and make it similar to your audio mixer where it can be mounted or disconnected from the main GUI?
So we have a physical control surface, as you know, the vMix control surface right there. So that's really great for those that want tactile feedback, T-bar, selecting the channels. But the design goal in vMix itself is it's pretty unique, is that the thumbnail previews of the inputs themselves are the control surface. You point and click them just like you would the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 buttons on a control surface. So rather than have to commit to memory, oh, 5 is camera X and oh, number 7 is the title, you see it and you click on it. So it does have a control surface. It's built into the interface directly. So we've just found in usability testing that if you have a separate number panel, you have to remember stuff. Why not just click on the source you actually want to show based on its thumbnail preview? But of course, there's going to be those that just like the idea of an old school control surface in software. And so we expect the Cloud Media Group and Seth there to have a Windows version of his control app at some point. He's working now to update the iPad version of the software and adding some more features, and includes some pretty cool audio features in the pipeline. So, just keep suggesting in the forums and asking for it, and I'm sure we'll have a release for that shortly. But I hope that helps explain why we haven't done it, because it's just so much easier to point and click on thumbnail previews.
That's about all there are for questions today. It seems as though people have all their questions answered out there. Well, if you have any more questions, let us know. We might actually finish closer to the right time this time around.
I will set something up now then.
What? You're going to do something?
Yep, just posting vMix 17 to the forums.
Oh, right, okay.
So vMix 17 preview, 17.0.0 beta, and it's live. So just a small little thing. So any more questions? We'll just keep things going in the post-show to answer the questions. Thanks for watching. It's been a great show. We'll see you again at NAB.
Yep.
If you're watching this on YouTube, subscribe. Subscribe to us on Twitter. Tim will show you the Twitter handle.
Or
right
Facebook.
there.
We're on Facebook now.
Anytime we're doing updates, it'll be on Twitter. It'll be... I'm just updating this post here for you guys.
So yeah, look us up on Twitter and Facebook. Twitter's pretty much instant, so if we're doing something, we'll throw it out there. Remember, vmix.com/live. vmix.com/live. We'll put a link on the front of the website as well, so you don't forget. So yeah, over the week of NAB from the 18th to the 21st, we'll be doing live shows all day. We'll be doing probably a vMix Funtime live show on the Sunday as well. So keep your eye out for that on the forum and on Twitter and Facebook. So yeah, we'll probably be doing one just to test out how our 8-hour live streaming is going to go. We'll do a Funtime live show the day before. We'll let everybody know when it's going to be on. It's going to be a fun week. We'll have Tom Sinclair, Streaming Idiots. We'll be idiot streaming live from our booth on one of the days on his scheduled time. So if you follow him or if you watch his show, you'll be able to see his show on our stage, stream live. So that'll be we may be, I don't know whether we're streaming him, streaming us, streaming him, but yeah, you get the picture. So Tom will be there. We'll have the Teradek live show feeds, and we'll have all the information about all the new products and tutorials and that kind of thing for the week. So vmix.com/live. So don't forget to check it out. If you're going to come visit us live, say hi. I'm Tim.
Sit in the audience, throw tomatoes or whatever. If you don't like what we're saying, that would be great as well. So, thanks for watching the live show, and I guess we'll see you all, a bunch of you at NAB. So thanks for watching.
See you later.
And we will see you soon.